Okay, I can intro this Limetown.
Yeah. Wait. Okay.
Do it with me.
Oh.
Transition. Limetown is a podcast from 2015 that appears to be real at first. I think especially with the first episode. There's a lot of realism in it, a lot of fake news sound bites included. As it progresses, it gets a little less... It's
realistic.
a more... Yeah, a little... Not... Just because it has more sci-fi elements to it. That you're like, okay, well, that's not real.
But they never, at the beginning are like, hey, this is a fake...
They never acknowledge that
No.
at all. Which is, I think, really cool, and it's a great way, especially for podcasts, to come across and be like... that's how Orson Welles started with War of the Worlds,
Mm-hmm.
They didn't say, hey, this is fake. They acted like, hey, no, this is a news broadcast and there are aliens attacking.
Right.
So, getting into that, if you haven't watched Limetown yet, please do so beforehand. Put away your money.
Just showing off my crisp Lincoln. Listen to it yet. It's not you can't watch it.
True. Actually, don't watch it because...
Apparently the show's awful.
If you go in thinking you're going to watch it and you go to the Facebook show and stuff, the show's bad. Season 2 of the podcast is bad. The first season of the podcast is great. Spotify, YouTube, whatever. It's all there.
Apple Podcasts.
Originally, when it came out, you had to listen to it on SoundCloud or wait a day or 3 and get it on your podcast app. That was 2015. Man. Anyways, please listen to it first. It's only 30 minutes, and I don't think any of the episodes are more than about 30 minutes.
No, most of them are less than 30. Most of them are around 20, 25.
Yeah, it's great. It is really good. It's engrossing, and it's something that we can discuss together.
I think it's 8 or 10 of them long?
There's only 6. Yeah.
Okay.
However, in the first episode, she specifically says 7. Yes, 7-part series. And I always thought that meant that it was like an ARG and you had to find out where to go. So I got real into it. That never happened though. For the fourth time, please listen to it before you do this. I'll include a link below.
Spoilers. I actually don't blame you if some of you don't want to.
If you're not going to though,
but
right.
We are going to be talking about it.
If you're not going to listen to it, I will have a summary of each episode too as we go along. Hopefully you listen to the summary and you're like, okay, that kind of sounds like it could be cool.
Yeah.
So, Limetown was created, and the episode starts out with Leah Haddock talking about her investigation going on for WVPK, right? It's like their radio station she works for, right? And she talks about how Limetown was created as a scientific coal town type of thing in White County, Tennessee. Most people found out about Limetown on February 8th, 2004, when a 911 call broke on major news. First responders arrived in 17 minutes, but no one was allowed inside, not even the police or ambulances that showed up.
It's like a small community that they had
It's like a gated town.
Yeah.
If anyone's been to Tennessee, there are kind of towns that you see down in the valley that have one road entering in, and that's what I would think of you're on the side of a hill, and down in this valley and around a corner you can see that there's community and buildings, but it's gated off. There's security there, and they stopped this thing. What you can see is a smoldering bonfire in the middle.
When the first responders showed up, that's
right.
What they saw.
First responders showed up, no one's allowed in, and so now local news and other news agencies are showing up because, what the heck? Security leaves the morning of the 11th, which is, if the call came in at 11 on February 8th, it's technically 2 days, later. The gates were left open, but as soon as they go in to investigate, everyone is gone. There's no one there. Security left, and there was no one there. So now it's a worldwide story. This is where they play a couple of sound bites of news clips that make it really convincingly like it really was a worldwide story. And then it evaporates into the 24-hour news cycle. When this happened, Leah was 17. And of course, when the show came out, it was 10 years later, 11 years later. So you can think about that. Leah had an uncle who was a resident there, who was a scientist. So it kind of affected her a lot, and it made her want to pursue journalism. She mentions this in the episode. They start talking about the founding of Limetown. In June of 2002, in White County, Tennessee again, Limetown was founded, bought and they broke ground by a company named Railor, which is owned by a man named R.B. Villard. They spent about $2 billion to build and develop this town, according to Terry Hilkins, who I believe is a local police officer, who is helping Leah do some actual investigation on the ground just in this episode. But instead of being just like a normal research facility, it was built as an actual town with restaurants and movie theaters were like the two things they specifically mentioned.
Yeah.
And I kind of say that for a purpose.
He said restaurant, bar, and a movie, and even the movie theater.
Right.
Yeah.
It was built to house up to 1,000 people, even though when it opened there was only 327 people there. The public purpose of the project was, that they said in their PR release, was to gain a full understanding of the human brain. What does that mean? Who knows? R.B. Villard, the person who got the investors and everything, owned this company, said that he felt like he could change the destiny of the human race. The lead researcher was named Dr. Oscar Totem, and he was named lead researcher before they even broke ground. So R.B. Villard knew about him and picked him for this project by hand. There was a lot of neuroscience buzz around Limetown, but on the outside, no one actually knew why this was. It was just, oh yeah, they're doing something with the brain, yada yada. But it wasn't big news until the 911 call. So then on June 3rd, 2003, Limetown opens, 327 people. They call it basically Mayberry. Nothing interesting happens from what they can see on the outside till the 911 call. That was funny.
That was a weird noise, yeah.
Right when I said
when you said
911 call, there's firefighters across the street that went off.
That was funny.
So, all 327 people vanished. 10 plus years later, no one is found. No survivors. The security team that left had some type of an interview where they just said they were paid in cash. They didn't really know who their boss was. They were kept in the dark too. They're just told to leave. He also said that their team was questioned at Guantanamo Bay for 18 months afterwards. Later, R.B. Villard, the owner of this whole project, was forced to testify in front of Congress and made a very pragmatic, I don't know the right word. He made a very a speech that was like, he said, I can't wait for Limetown to go down in the annals of history, and you, talking to a politician, will go down in the annals of nothing, right? So you won't get remembered, but this project is so big that it's gonna be...
It was like chilling.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
They also, side note, had a voice actor play and try to imitate a real life politician from 2004, and they were very close. It's really cool. A lot of hard work and effort went into this thing. They cut back to Oscar Totem, who started out working in Sydney, Australia. He was known to be brilliant and optimistic, but no one really knew his work. I mean, who knows any famous scientists right now? The thing about Oscar Totem was his remains are the only ones that were found at Limetown. His teeth were still there at the base of the smoldering stake that was a bonfire, and he was presumably burned alive.
And he wasn't the guy, he was the one who came up with the idea, and then the other guy was the one who
funded it
and like,
right.
Okay, just making sure I got that right.
Took him to the next level. And this is where Leah asks, why is the question that there is no answer to anywhere she's researched. They then cut to family members. She interviewed several of them, of family members of people who, of not her, but of people who have lost someone in Limetown that are missing, right? Almost all of them talk about how they still feel a connection, that nobody has closure, and everyone at the end said, after getting asked, do you think they're still alive? Everyone almost unanimously says yes, yes, yes. Transition to former FBI investigator for 32 years, Ron Calhoun, who was the lead investigator in the Limetown case. He said, this is a very common occurrence, especially when there's no body, whatever, and makes it seem like, yeah, don't worry about it, but then kind of drags you back and says, but I also don't believe they were killed. I think they're alive. He said, as soon as they were done, they combed the place for fingerprints, saliva, anything, and they couldn't find any DNA, period. They looked in people's toothbrushes, anything, and there was nothing.
He said, quote, this was purposeful, following a plan, done masterfully.
Right.
So like it was obvious that this was like something planned, basically.
They were prepared for.
Yeah.
So then Terry Hilkins, the local police officer, takes Leah to see Limetown, and as soon as they walk in, Leah's just like, that's it? Because it's small. It's a small, tiny town. It's just odd and out of place. She asks about the name, Limetown. Terry says the name came from the limestone caves that they were built into as part of a green initiative and tax break. Very eerie, mentioning cave systems. They mention how people will, trying to think they solved Limetown, will go out and try to venture into the caves, which, of course, over 10 years has led to a couple people going missing or getting lost for a couple days, things like that. And they've boarded up plenty of the caves now. They get to the research facility and it's locked and boarded up completely. No one can get in, obviously. Not that anyone could get in before, Terry mentions. Then they go to a home, walk inside, and everything was normal, Leah said. They even had mail. They have a small conversation about how everything operated in plain sight, even though it seems, shrouded in mystery and things. Terry would deliver the mail to their front gate, like no problem. He could walk in if he wanted to and had to clear it, It was just like no one was interested in it really. They start to end things with the smell of dry rot of the wood, right? Talking about how they had all this stuff planned out to the smallest detail. They just got the wrong kind of flushing for their gutters, and so water just poured inside the wall in between the siding and drywall, which led to dry rot of the wood. So it has this notable smell, right? It's just this analogy of overlooking small things. Leah says that was going to be the end of the first part until, and then it cuts to a call from Terry Hilkins a few days later. That is a survivor who reached out to Terry Hilkins and asked to speak to Leah. The first parent survivor of Limetown who is still alive reached out and says, we need to talk, but I'm not going to talk to anyone. I'm only going to talk to you. And we got to do it in person, basically.
And that's where it ended.
So our episode 1 ends.
Yep.
That's my recap. It's a long recap.
It's okay.
But it's necessary.
Yeah.
So,
I have the odds. Oh. Sorry.
thoughts? Hypotheses?
Hypotheses.
I thought that was my water bottle.
I forgot about some of the things. So, like, I listened to, like, part of it when, like, years ago when you guys were listening to it. But I forgot about, like, the caves. I forgot about, like, the burning thing.
Yeah.
The burning pile, whatever. And, yeah, forgot about some of those things. But also, I want to talk about the guy who said that they were like what did he say? He said
Which guy?
about the human brain. He said
Oscar Totem in the
Yeah.
episode says something like, we shouldn't look at the stars and feel small. We should look at the stars and feel defiance
Yeah.
that we have the answers in our brain and that studying the brain could reveal, everything we need, kind of a thing.
yeah.
He very much believes that there's way more to the brain than what we are using it for.
Right. And that was what he was like most like public, like talking about publicly, where he was
It was
like
basically a TED Talk that he had
Yeah.
that was recorded. It's one of the only known public appearances he has.
Yeah. Where it was it was not creepy, but like because he ended it and it was at like a science thing
Yeah.
so everyone clapped for him after his speech, but you could still tell that he
There's a
came
little
across
eeriness to
eerie.
it.
Yeah.
Like he knows something that he's not sharing or something like
Yeah.
that. I have notes that I took when I was first listening to this in like 2015, which is awesome and fun to have.
I'm bleeding. I picked.
Oh no.
It's fine. Anyway.
So I got stuff like that, which is really cool that we still have. Okay, so of the notes I have,
Sorry.
the first thing I had written down is the caves.
Mm-hmm.
Is it too obvious, or is it too obvious that you're like,
It's,
oh, it's not the caves?
Loki says.
Right.
Loki, this slaps.
That's definitely something to think about if somehow they had an escape route or something through the caves. I don't know.
Or that it was just, like purposely built on the cave system or something like that.
Right. If there was more than just cooling machinery for research or whatever, which
Yeah.
is what Terry mentioned.
Yeah.
Speaking of Terry Hilkins, does he know more? I mean, there are some of the answers that he has where he seems kind of like he might have been a resident and is hiding it. But he also speaks about just delivering the mail to the front gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just times where he's like,
But
he refers to all the people being dead and then switches and saying,
yeah.
my bad, are alive, and then says, I'm an optimist.
Yeah.
But he just referred to everyone as passing away.
But why would he feel the need to keep information from Leah though?
No idea. He's a weird character, an odd character.
Yeah.
In all of this. Next on my list was the smell of dry rot and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It really was just an elegant analogy. Is there more to it? Or is it just like
They just didn't.
the writer of
do
the
it
show
right.
think they're really clever?
Yeah.
It might just be that. Or maybe it is, overlooking the small things ends up being what happened to Limetown,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Terry Hopkins?
No, I want to talk about this and this.
Yeah, brain mapping, right?
Yeah.
That was one of the big guesses that people had. Maybe it's brain mapping, which is like impossible. So like mapping the genome, they thought was going to take 12 years or something, and it took like a year and 6 months. They're like, holy cow, mapping the human genome. But even attempting to do brain mapping is even still like impossible.
A lot of the things when they were first talking about why they made Limetown was a discovery, or wait, what did he say? Discovery
So a lot
of
about
the human brain.
The human brain and
Yeah.
neuroscience.
Right, and it wasn't just like a experimental thing where they wanted to see, like, try something out in this town. It was like they were studying, like researching, trying to figure something out about the brain.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just like,
Yeah.
It was definitely more of
something to put $2 billion into a
Right.
research facility in town.
right in this random city in Tennessee.
Yeah.
That wasn't that big of a deal before the 911 call.
Right. So then, how does that connect to what happened in the 911 call? What happened so that there was such a panic that people were calling? Oh, that's another thing that I probably should have mentioned, is that people talked about in the interviews the last time they spoke on the phone with their loved ones. Everyone was saying, I'm just scared, I don't know what to do. There wasn't a lot getting out.
It was
Like not a lot of information being transponded.
right, it was like bad signal and panic. They were just calling their loved ones.
Right. And so during that, a lot of people got to speak to their loved ones for the last time. There just wasn't information going out about what was happening. Everyone was just terrified, in fear, yada yada. So then, if it wasn't brain mapping, were they doing something with consciousness itself?
Don't know.
Did they make a discovery that hardcore affected human psychology? And that's why everyone was panicking? I don't know.
It was something where something like big enough happened to actually, like, they didn't let cops or anyone in for how many days? 2 days? About 2 days?
About 2 days. 48 to 72 hours.
Right. They didn't let anyone in until everyone was gone. And that was 300. Was it more than then? Was it more by that time, or was it still 327 people missing?
I think it was 327.
Okay. So, yeah.
I don't think I have
It's okay.
a number later on. No, I have a little notes for episode 2, but that's it.
It's okay.
I think it might have been up to 600 for whatever reason.
Right, I mean, you think it would have grown.
A little bit, yeah.
Right.
But it was only open from February 2002. No, that's when they broke ground. June 2003 to February 2004. So it wasn't even a full year of research being done. But
yeah.
And it's hard because there are things that we both know that we're like,
Right. You wouldn't be like, oh, it could be this,
Right.
but that's just because you know things.
So if you guys are listening along, that'd be great to include what you think is going on.
Yeah. And there's probably going to be some episodes where we talk about, like, we end up talking about Limetown longer, or some episodes where we end up talking about it for a shorter amount of time. So if you don't want to watch it at the same time, I don't want you to, like, feel like whatever about it. But yeah.
Yep, it's an interesting process. It's something that I think it'll be fun to have guests on that are going through it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Would be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I really like this as a series, and hope you guys do too.
Who do you want to see as our guest for our next episode?
Well, I think we just gotta get scheduling right. I think we have the next like 2 lined up or something.
Well, I mean, we have like a group of like 10 people to choose from, or 7 or 6.
Yeah.
Whatever, but you know.
We just
not choose from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who filled out the form?
If we're
back in the day.
If you've made it this far, you've obviously, maybe you did or didn't listen to Limetown. That's fine.
That's fine.
However,
what were you gonna say?
I can't talk. I can't like multitask.
You can't go on your like try to find something and talk at the same time.
We're almost at 30 subscribers, guys, so make sure you
smash that subscribe button, hit the like if you enjoyed this episode, turn post notifications on so you guys know whenever we post, whenever we come out with a new podcast for you to listen to and enjoy throughout your day. And we even linked below, we have our Redbubble where you can shop our merchandise, you can get stickers, and actually Redbubble a lot of the time has a code. You just look it up, like, hey, like look up like code Redbubble, and you know, you'll find some, and it'll get you like 15% off or whatever. Anyway, and I hope you enjoyed this episode.
I wasn't closing it out.
Okay.
Closing it out. Because granted, this is a stupid long episode.
Sorry.
Yeah, seriously.
I think you should wait to edit this and take more time editing this one.
I might make it 2 episodes.
Oh, okay.
So the thing is, the people that have made it through episodes to get to the very end and comment is consistently 1 or 2 or 3 people. So that's what I'm saying we should make our priority for guests.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. And if you've made it this far, please comment.
Meow. Comment that.
Sure.
Maestro, dig us out.
Yeah, because we're still recording, going on.
1 hour 15.
Yeah.
And that's too long, because I can't even listen to myself for that long.
Let alone you guys listen to us.
Exactly.
Which means we're gonna have to stop this. We're gonna have to record an intro for the second one and make that episode 10, and then do the Disney question and Limetown.
You think?
Maybe.
Or there might be enough that you can cut out where we're just blabbering. And
That's
make
more
it.
editing though.
Yeah, I know, but I would rather that.
You need to start editing.
I can edit it. Okay, guys. Love you. Drive safe. Be kind. Stay hydrated. Wear sunscreen. Protect your skin. What else do we advise them to do? Be kind and loving.
Don't talk to strangers.
Ooh. If someone tries to do something, don't let them. That goes in more ways than
What does
one.
that even mean?
You know what it means. Don't be
Suspicious?
suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Also,
Plant trees?
ooh,
I keep looking at your like leaf chart.
I love this shirt.
Yeah.
I've got like a stain from something on it.
Blood?
Anyway, that's blood. That's not
Yeah.
the blood of my enemies. I think at the end of every episode, we should like tell them to go do something. Like not do something actually, like not give them chores. Like give them a recommendation.
The problem is not many people listen to the end of the episode.
Yeah, so it's only for people we truly love and listen.
I think we should reward them by not giving them homework.
No, it's not homework. It's like it's like giving them a reward. It's like a little reward. We
So,
have different
like,
opinions on this. It's fine. We won't do it.
what do you mean, though?
So like we would be like, hey guys, you get to like give them advice or something. Also, we should make a Discord so that we can. I want to answer questions from these people.
Yeah.
I want to just like do a full thing like that. I want to do an advice cast. Actually.
Oh, advice cast.
Yeah, like give
I thought you said I want to do an vice. Like,
No.
I want to do a vice cast.
Miami Vice. No.
It's like, okay.
No.
That's weird.
I want to give people advice.
Okay.
Because I think both of us are good at that.
Oh,
Well,
we'll see.
yeah.
This podcast is way too long.
Treat people with kindness.
We've said that 7 times now.
Listen to a song that makes you happy. Eat food, not
Live,
too
laugh,
much.
love.
Drink water. Go
May the Lord
pee,
bless this house and all who live
say
in
your
it.
prayers, and be good to your parents.